Bad taste in music is potentially the biggest train wreck in the history of YouTube. I'm Dan Frampton, this is Sloppy Seconds, likes and subs, let's go. So we're logging on to the internet today to discuss bad taste in music. A couple days ago, he uploaded a video. It is not the video pictured here. The video he uploaded a couple days ago was called SI. It has now been deleted. This video that's called number 2 is him apologizing for that video and claiming that it is potentially the worst thing that he has ever done. And yeah, I'm here to talk about it because it is potentially the worst thing that he's ever done, and he has done some pretty god-awful stuff and even worse stuff that he admitted to in that video entitled SI. New revelations. It was an absolute bombshell of a video, and I was actually going to talk about that video today anyway, but by the time I logged on, this video that we're looking at here was 2 minutes old. So I was like, oh my god, of course there's a bad taste in music update. There's always an update. So let's talk about that first video, SI, shall we? He uploaded it with the intention of him kind of repairing his career, where he kind of went through his timeline of events of the drama. And in his own timeline, he didn't even paint himself right, and he didn't even tell it all correctly. It all kicked off about a year ago when this guy went to see H3 live. He went backstage, took a picture with them, and then the internet went absolutely crazy at him. And instead of bad taste in music just addressing it and being like, hey guys, I'm sorry about that, sorry you feel that way, I'm just gonna continue on making my videos, what he then did was then throw Ethan and Gila under the bus, disavow them completely, and run away like a complete coward. The internet called him a coward, and that's when Bradley over here started to spiral. You could tell there were disputes between him and his editors because those disputes were hitting the internet. You could tell there were disputes between him and his girlfriend because those disputes were hitting the internet. Everybody was making videos on bad taste in music because of how he was handling this H3 situation and subsequently how he was ruining his own life. Amidst all of this, he came onto the internet and said that he was quitting weed. He blamed weed for all of these things. Not his behavior, not his environment, not anything that he could control. Blame it on the weed. Which speedrun a little bit, he went to rehab for, and then speedrun even a little bit farther, now he's smoking weed again. Okay, got it, Brad Taste. Now, back to this SI video that he put out. In it, the bombshell revelation that he laid on everybody is he was arrested and put into jail for domestic violence. His girlfriend recorded him, sent that recording to a couple people, and that enraged Brad. That was only one of the things that enraged Brad. One of the things that Bradley explains in that video is that he was in his room doing a little stream. He went out to the kitchen. He saw his girlfriend crying, and instead of consoling the girlfriend, instead of sitting with the girlfriend and trying to comfort the girlfriend, he screamed at the girlfriend. There does seem to be a few details missing from this screaming match to him being put into jail for domestic violence. And these are all things that he admitted to freely and publicly in that video. Then he went on to blame everything on his girlfriend. Then he went on to blame everything on this Hive Mind. Hive Mind is another channel. They have like 500,000 subscribers or whatever. And all the while, it doesn't seem like Brad Taste over here cares about doing the right thing by him. He doesn't care about anything morally. He doesn't care about anybody's feelings. He doesn't care about anything else. And apparently he doesn't even care about money, because in this video, he's like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna go back to work. I kind of like not working. Like literally, Brad Taste over here might be the biggest loser I've ever heard about on the internet. Him going like, I don't know if I want to work or not. I mean, my dad's going back to work, but you know, I'm happy just sitting around, smoking weed, going for aimless drives with my friends, and fucking watching movies all day long. I'm not making that up. These are all the things that Brad Taste in Music said in that deleted video SI. It is 1,000,000 degrees in this room if you're wondering why I'm sweating so much. So after that video went out, everybody critiqued it, everybody made fun of it. It was the worst video that he could have made. And then today, he puts up this video being like, I realized that that was the worst video ever made, probably by anybody ever on YouTube. And I don't know if I'd necessarily go that far, but it was pretty bad. It was clear he doesn't care about himself, his ex, or anyone involved. He only cares about having a successful YouTube career. He just wants to be that hotshot guy. He goes on to call what he did art. This guy sat in his room reacting to music, and he has the audacity to call himself an artist? That is absolutely wild behavior. Brad Taste in Music is absolutely delusional. In this video, 2 period, he's saying he's gonna take a year away from the platform and maybe that will be what he needs. But judging by his own behavior, this guy flip-flops so much. I can't rely on anything that he says, let alone anything he said in this most recent video. So before he inevitably deletes this train wreck of a video, I'm gonna archive it right here on this channel. I'm gonna react to it. It's not that long. It's only like 2.5 minutes. Brad Taste in Music, roll it.
Hi, so I released a video a few days ago, and it was something that was called SI, and it was supposed to be talking about my experience with, battling through all this mental health shit for the last year, and it was a fucking terrible idea.
Yeah, it was a terrible idea. I have no idea what made you think that it was a good idea. And in that video, Brad Taste, you were as greasy as I am sweaty right now. As floofy as your hair is in this video, it was like wet down. And it didn't look like you just got out of the shower. It was like grease wet, you know? And no shame, everybody gets greasy. I've had myself a greasy day. The point that I'm trying to make is you don't seem fit for this. You're up, you're down, you're manic, you're all over the place. One moment you're throwing people under the bus, the next moment you're apologizing for it. Anyway, let's hear you out. Roll it.
The video ended up being extremely exploitative of my ex because I decided to, I was like, oh, it's my ex-girlfriend. But like, she's a real person and there are real people being named in this video. And so the entire thing, comes off as an extreme violation of privacy. And I can completely understand why people are upset because it is honestly, I think, one of the worst things possibly ever uploaded to the internet.
I don't know if I'd go that far. That's a little bit hyperbolic. And it is kind of cool to see you take accountability for the reasons why you should be taking accountability. You kind of know why this was a bad thing. You exploited these people. You treated the people in your life like they're like pawns in your video game. Life is like a video game. You're more like Ronnie Radke than you'd like to admit over there, Brad Taste. Anyway, continue. Roll it.
I am fucking ashamed of it. I feel like I failed completely.
Oh, you more than failed. Oh my God, this was the biggest ball drop in the history of the platform. Now you got me being all hyperbolic, but literally, this ball was dropped so hard. Fumble of the century. This guy, all he had to do was log onto the internet and listen to music, and he had hundreds of people, if not thousands of people, tuning into him every day just to listen to music and tell them if he liked it or not. And they were giving him money for it. All these fucking super chats were coming in, all these donations, and he had the easiest job in the world. Then he would clip those reactions and then get a bunch of ad revenue off the back of it through clips the next day. This guy had the easiest gig in the world and he threw it all away because he took a picture with Ethan Klein. Are you even kidding me right now? It doesn't even matter what you think of Ethan Klein. Pro Ethan Klein, anti Ethan Klein, whether you think anything about him, I don't care, okay? It's absolutely wild to me that you would throw away a hotshot YouTuber streaming career for that. And not only a hotshot YouTuber streaming career, the easiest one of all time. Like Brad, you didn't need to think to do your job. All you had to do is have enough motor skills to run OBS and be like, I like song, I don't like song. Song is good. Ronnie Radke's really silly, isn't he, guys? I think Ronnie Radke's a silly little goofball. That's all you had to do to make thousands and thousands of dollars every month. And don't even get me started when you came onto the internet a couple months ago asking for $10,000 from your audience. Jesus Christ, what a train wreck all over the place. It has been such a journey following this guy's drama. Back in.
Like, as a person. And like, this video just highlights also like all of her concerns, where she's saying that she's felt this pain, that she recognizes this exploitation and this feeling of being unsafe around someone like me with a platform. So
of course she recognizes why she feels unsafe. That is abundantly clear. Brad, you're a maniac. And I don't know if you watching these videos back, you can see how like absolutely diabolically insane you come across, but it's so clear to me that whatever environment you're in is an unsafe one for anyone else.
I am going to disappear for a year. and see around this time next year if I'm ready to try again, because I'm clearly not ready for this.
I genuinely hope he takes this year. I hope he sticks to these guns. I hope he gets better, and I hope he comes back. I think a YouTube with Brad Tasted Music is a better YouTube than a YouTube without him. I appreciated what he brought to the platform, okay? He had this like kind of authenticity that not a lot of people bring to this platform. But on the other hand, he had the easiest gig in the world and called himself an artist while he did it. So it's hard to be like, I root for you, Brad Tasted Music. You gotta change all of that. You gotta change your core fundamental whole perspective on the earth and everything in existence. Like, you are that far gone. I feel for him though, man. Like, to be riding high, to be making all this money, to be doing all this sort of stuff one day, and then the next day you're like at home, the place that you were trying to run away from your whole life. Well, a part of me would feel bad if the behavior that led to that wasn't so obvious and egregious and continual. Like, it's an absolute cycle. And when you notice these like patterns or cycles of behavior, that's when you're like, okay, this guy might need to find a way to lock in somehow. Anyway, back in.
And I am rightfully being called out for honestly just terrible behavior, extremely irresponsible behavior. And I'd like to give just a, like, I would like to just say sorry. Like, from the bottom of my heart, from everyone who supports me, it is just like, I'm fucking sorry. Like, this was disgusting.
Those are all the words I like to hear from a Brad Tasted Music during a situation like this. But the only problem is it does seem like he's saying it through a manic type scope. I'm not sure if he's actually feeling these emotions or if he's just like trying to say more words to try to make it right the way that he did in his last video, you know? In other words, I don't know if he's just being Brad Tasted Music or not.
There's not a single fucking justification I have for this. This is the worst thing I've ever done on YouTube, and it will be like seen as that. And it should.
And it will. Oh my God, yeah, you are absolutely the biggest train wreck that has just spiraled out for absolutely no reason. Like, Brad Tasted Music over here, he didn't get in any controversy because of the people that he was messaging or whatever and their age. There was no EDP behavior going on with Brad Tasted Music, not from anything that I could see anyway. He was just narcissistic, delusional, and treated everybody in his life like absolute crap and behaved like an entitled little wiener.
I hope that my ex is able to disconnect herself from this situation and move on and get help and support like she has been in the last few days, or at least like in terms of the support. But no, like, again, I brought this shit back up.
Yeah, and I want to extend the same sentiment here. I hope the best for his ex-girlfriend. Nobody deserves to go through any of this sort of stuff. This must be mental torture to put up with a guy like Brad Tasted Music. The way he threw you under the bus, the way he painted you. If I were Brad Tasted Music's ex-girlfriend, I would be mortified. I would be pissed. Anyway, Brad, continue.
It makes perfect sense why she's so upset and so hurt. But it, like, even then, it took me a couple of days for it to all click.
It's that line there that blows my mind. It took you a couple days for it to all click? What do you mean a couple days, Brad? It's been 11 months. Nothing has clicked yet. What do you mean?
Because I was like, oh, you know, what's so wrong with this video, you know? I'm just talking about my own experience, but that's just the thing. It was all about me. It was selfish, and it
okay, yeah, that, but apply it to absolutely everything in this drama.
Turned into a complete disaster, and yeah, that's all I have to say is that I'm going away for a year, and that this, like, and that's like probably the minimum for something this, like, that's this big of a fuck up. So I'm sorry. Like, I let everybody down, you know? Like, yeah, so peace.
Now, I really do hope that Brad does all the right things to make himself better in his brain and in his life, and he gets himself back on track. I wish that for everybody, but in order to do that, you need to stop fucking around, you need to stop hurting everybody around you, and you need to realize what those behaviors are doing to yourself and the ripple effects that they have throughout your entire universe. But that's where the Brad Tasted Music situation is right now. I really hope that this is the last time that I'm talking about him in the next year or so, ago, but something tells me there's gonna be a future Brad Tasted Music update coming pretty soon. I'm not sure what it's gonna be. I hope it's like, oh man, I've been watching a lot of Destiny, and he says stream through it all the time, so he's just gonna decide to stream through it. Don't listen to that, that's a bad idea. You don't need to stream through it. Get off the internet, get off the internet. But I will also say, Brad Taste, if all you do is sit around watching movies, drive around getting high, and listening to music with your friends, and if that's all you literally do, you will not get better. It will keep you here. You're gonna continue the cycle, and then you're gonna keep hurting people. You need to make active changes in your life if you want to get better. Do the things, Brad. But as far as this video is concerned, it's done. Okay, goodbye, see you later, and have a good one.